the S&P 500, I'll give credit to this ETF. The good thing about these indexes is that they are a self-cleansing process. The weight of which stocks are allocated in the index are based on the company's market cap. Since Apple is the biggest stock in the world, it makes sense that the weight is 6%. Same goes for Nvidia and the rest of the top companies being high on the percentage. The only thing I can say to that is that it doesn't matter what company it is. For all we know, they could hide the names of these companies and they'll still be weighted based on the company's market cap. Now, since Bitcoin is taking over every asset classes in the world, Bitcoin is literally a $2 trillion asset. It's only a matter of time that Bitcoin development companies will take over the S&P 500. Now this is a big claim. Some would say it's a conspiracy, that eventually the S&P 500 will be replaced by companies that hold a lot of Bitcoin in their balance sheet. But look at the Magnificent 7 stocks in the index. They're all tech companies. 20 years ago, all of them except Microsoft didn't even make it in the top 7. Some didn't even exist. Who's to say Bitcoin companies won't make it to the top 7 in the S&P 500? I have reasons to believe that strategy will become one of the biggest players in the S&P 500. Now that the FASB rule is here, strategy can now report their unrealized profits for their Bitcoin holdings. Once they show profits 4 quarters in a row, they'll be qualified to enter the S&P 500, and this will mark an important role for the future of Bitcoin. Eventually, many companies will follow strategy by adopting a Bitcoin standard. They will buy Bitcoin and add it into their balance sheet. Why? Not because it's the new hype or trend, but because they need to in order to protect their wealth from the debasement of fiat currencies. Semler Scientific, Metaplanet and Marathon Digital, just to name a few, have already adopted a Bitcoin standard and are copying strategy's method of buying Bitcoin. Look, we all know that the S&P 500 cannot beat the returns of Bitcoin. The only way to beat the returns of Bitcoin year over year is more Bitcoin. And that is what strategy is doing. Michael Saylor and his company Strategy has proven that by adopting a Bitcoin standard, you can outperform the returns of Bitcoin tremendously. Therefore, in order for the S&P 500 to beat the rate of returns of Bitcoin, every 500 companies in the index needs to adopt a Bitcoin standard. And I have reasons to believe that once strategy gets added to the S&P 500, it's game over for traditional finance. It's game over. When Godzilla arrives, all your traditional financial models are destroyed.